Good afternoon, everybody. We are actually experiencing a new start with Department of Computer Engineering and Department of IT, Konkan Gyanpeeth College of Engineering, Karjat. We are starting today on 23rd July 2022, a series of lectures that gives you a brief introduction to many new technologies. To begin with, we decided to have a session related to natural language processing. Uh, it's one of the application area of AI, and most of us have done a course in AI in just the previous semester. TEIT as well as the computer students have done a basic course in AI already, and they have a kind of opportunity at this moment to select their major projects. As well, some of the computer engineering students have natural language processing as one of their elective courses. In this series of lectures, we are inviting people from eminent backgrounds to deliver you the content that would be suited for you to understand and get motivated to do certain projects, research work, or many other activities in the current state of the art technology disciplines. So today we have with us Saurabh Deoghare, who was our ex-alumni, who coincidentally is an alumni from Computer Engineering Department. Also, be happy to say that he's currently doing his research work at IIT Bombay, and he is working there as a research assistant as well. So he's not only doing his PhD work but also working as a research assistant in IIT Bombay, and the place where he's working is called as CFILT, which is a dedicated lab in IIT Bombay Computer Science Department who work towards getting Indian language to have the exact same stature as the other European and US languages has with respect to research in NLP. So I would not waste a lot of time in describing his deeds, who he is, what he knows, and other things. I would straight away give the dais to Saurabh Deoghare. I happen to call him Saurabh and मी एकरी उल्लेख करतो Saurabh because you are an ex-student, but you
Yes, sir.
definitely
Absolutely
are
fine.
at a stage of your career where we should say you, sir. Okay,
No, sir.
so please go ahead. The is yours. You can interact with.
Okay. Uh, I'm just confirming again. Is there any problem with my connection? Am I clearly audible?
Yes, you're clearly audible.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Anup sir, for introducing me. So I will start the presentation. Okay. So hi everyone. So today I will talk about applications of NLP. So I will not go into the intricate details about them, the techniques behind them, but my target is to just make you aware about the kind of applications which are really like hot topic right now and which are being worked upon. Okay, so I will start the presentation. So, sir had just given my introduction, so I will not again waste much time here. So I will just finish it in 2-3 lines maybe. So who am I? I am currently pursuing my PhD from CSE department of IIT Bombay. As sir said, in the CSE department, there is a lab called as CFILT. The lab works dedicatedly on NLP research problems. I am a part of that lab. What I work on is I work in the area of machine translation. The focus is on Indian languages. So I'm like focused in developing machine translation systems for translating text and speech from one Indian language to another Indian language, also from Indian language to foreign language. So along with this machine translation task, I also work on automatic post editing and quality estimations. These are like supportive tasks for machine translation, which I will discuss soon ahead. So what do I do all day? Since I work in NLP, I dissect every sentence. You might have seen this meme. The lady is asking the person for help. Instead, he is just listening to her sentence and dissecting it. So this is something we all do all day, but not really. We also work. Okay. Yeah, and these are this slide I added at the last minute. So this is how I ended up working on machine translation. So this slide is from my BTech final year project at KGCE. So I'm really glad that SM Patil sir allowed us to work on this project. So this project contained developing an Android app that translates message on the go. So here you can say the person is a person would type a message in English, and when the receiver receives it, he may receive it in same language. But what if he doesn't understand the language of the sender, right? So this is what we did. So at the server side, we implemented one. We tried to implement one empty system, which was not at all good at that time. But yeah, and out. So the machine translation system would translate the input text into target language, and the receiver would receive it. So this was like kind of idea, and this was the project that sparked my interest in machine translation. Before doing this project, I was like, machine translation is really easy. Why no one integrates it in chatting applications? So let's do it. And we started doing it. Once I started, I realized that it is difficult. I still had not realized how difficult it is, but only thing that I understood was it is too difficult to do this. And that is why I decided to go for my masters, where again I worked on machine translation. During my master, I understood the exact difficulties in this whole translation process, uh, and that is how I am at IIT Bombay. I am very much interested in working on machine translation for Indian languages. So I would again thank SM Patil sir. So after this bit of distraction, let me again introduce the CFILT to you. So CFILT, it's Computation for Indian Language Technology. It's the name of the lab at IIT Bombay. The lab was set up in the year 2000 by Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya at the CSE department. And it's a big lab, so more than 40 masters and PhD students work in the lab at any point of time. So apart from these masters and PhDs who work on NLP research problems, there are around 10 linguists who help us to understand the language phenomena and all, because our work spans almost 22 Indian languages, and none of us know all these languages, obviously. So these people are of great help to us. Then when you work at such a scale, you need to have a lot of data, and for that we have the annotators and illustrators. So around 10 to 15 people are there who keep helping us by providing us with the data that is needed. And then there are 5 people from management side who again are responsible for keeping everything run very smoothly. So this is our lab. This is our Twitter page. Here you can find out about all the work that is going on in the lab. And yeah, I'm glad to be part of it. So I will now start with the NLP. So what is NLP? NLP is not just an area of computer science, but we have to say that it is an art, science, and technique of making the computers understand and generate a natural language. So these words here are really important. They change the ball game altogether. So natural language understanding and natural language generation requires a different kind of skills for a machine to have. And this problem, it's multi-dimensional problem. That is why we need to be artistic, we need to follow the scientific principles, and then we need to combine it to come up with techniques that would solve the problems which we are targeting. So if we see nature of a language, it is not at all structural. So there is a content, obviously. So if you see a sentence, this is a sentence. So it has some contents, it has some words. When they are kept together, they form some understanding for us, right? They evolve into an understanding. So there is some understanding, and apart from this, there is an empathy. So natural language is being used by humans, right? So we converse with each other using natural language. So it has that component of empathy or emotion, and which is really important. If you ignore it, you cannot be good at being a good NLP practitioner. So this is like NLP. If you see how the NLP or the stage at which NLP is currently, so this is the diagram shows it. So NLP was always at the intersection of computer science and linguistics. So again, as I said, the language phenomenon and their knowledge is really important to develop the NLP techniques. Okay, the whole thing is a subset of AI. So the NLP is there the day since the AI came into existence, or we can say the AI came into existence because of NLP, interest of people in NLP, and the machine learning is like the paradigm which has really evolved as a which gives the solutions for NLP. Okay. So these diagrams show the nature of NLP. So as I said, NLP is a multidimensional problem. So on this axis, we have different problems of NLP, like morph analysis, part of speech tagging, parsing, and semantics. Then on the another axis, we have different languages. And then we have a third axis where we have the techniques or the algorithms to solve these problems for these languages, right? So you change the language, change the problem, and your technique changes. You have to you have to associate yourself with all these three axes to develop a better solution. Uh, the diagram on the left side shows the complexity of the different tasks being performed in the area of NLP. So at the bottom, we have morphology. So it is like analysis of the text at the character level or even subword level. Then we have something as POS tagging. So here we work at the word level to understand the grammatical structure and so on. Chunking refers to working at the phrase level. So making the sense out of a particular phrase from a sentence and so on. Then we have something as parsing. So parsing deals with disambiguation of the sentences. We will soon see why it is important. And working at the syntax level of the structure or document is not really enough. We have to go for semantics and discourse. So semantics concerns with the intricate meaning of the overall sentence, whether the whole sentence combined together making any sense or not. And then we have finally discourse. So even it is possible that the sentences make sense at the sentence level, but when we put together the sentences, it doesn't make any sense. So that should not be the case. So the final level of processing is discourse, where we actually care about the placement of sentences, their intricate meaning, relationship between different sentences, and so on. So this is like a high level view of what happens in NLP or the levels at which the NLP is performed. Okay. Recently, NLP has grown from being multi-layered and multidimensional to being multi-layered, multidimensional, and multilingual in true sense. This has happened because of the global, what we can say, global, uh, or like we have the world has come closer because of developments in the technology and so on, right? So people are being more and more are people are being bilingual, trilingual, and so on. And that is why now dealing with so now there is a need to change the techniques which were being used to solve the NLP problems, because now the language phenomena are becoming are changing. Here is one example of code mixing. So most of the time we talk in English now, so we use the Hindi and also English words in between. So that now changes the whole dynamics of the problems. The systems which were which were performing really well earlier are not performing really well today because of the change in the data and overlapping of the languages and so on.